today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $38.99. Go farther with better fuel efficiency. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com. Get it started, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
The Michael Kay Show is on.
Rich Cimini, is there any truth to this was a Woody engineered thing?
From what melts, and for $6.99, it's just for you.
Gatorade Fit. Fitness starts from the inside out. Get healthy, real hydration and no added sugar, artificial sweeteners, or added colors. Gatorade Fit. Healthy, real hydration today helps you fuel tomorrow.
Let's talk about your dirty ears. And let me guess, you're probably cleaning them with these. You need to be using Whoosh. Trust me, no one wants to tell you how gross your ears look. So whoosh yourself, you dirty you. Get 15% off and free shipping at trywhoosh.com.
Melbourne, you are amazing. Kia Arena is rocking.
Straight nitro from Curious.
It's the marathon in Melbourne. Amazing. If you love tennis, you're loving this.
The Australian Open begins January 15th on ESPN. The story starts here.
You know how you know it's a super wild card weekend? Because it ends on Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys trying to flush last week's performance here in Washington against the Commanders. Squaring off against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. You can watch it on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus, ESPN Deportes, and we will see you here on ESPN after the game for live post-game coverage. We'll also see you on Thursday after Gonzaga and BYU. We're here Sunday after the Aussie Open, and you just heard, Monday after the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. I believe Stanford Steve is back on Thursday as well, allegedly. Also winners, so we'll see you then.
Put that playoff atmosphere right here, boy. Seize the moment.
There's an intensity to the playoffs. Kind of throw the records out at that point.
If you truly want something in life, you got to go take it.
One thing that you can't replicate is playoff football. It's going to be a war.
Are you kidding me? Oh, my. This place is on fire.
Keyshawn, J. Willimax, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, ESPNU. Click more on the lower right-hand corner of the app. Scroll down and listen live or live radio. You can find us right there. Presented by Progressive Insurance. My Wi-Fi went out during the playoffs.
You always got some Wi-Fi issues.
Right.
Every day you have
no
Wi-Fi
question. But during the playoffs, Yankees in the playoffs, I'm like, what am I going to do? And then I heard my own voice say, click more on the lower right-hand corner of the app. Scroll down to live radio. And I did just that. And I caught everything.
So the Wi-Fi worked for the live radio, but it didn't work.
I don't know. I guess it was using cell service or something. Cell signal. We're presented by Progressive Insurance.
Question this about what he's saying, man.
What, Kim?
He's Detective Williams is on the case.
No,
going on,
I
Key?
just want you to know, Key, that now you got random ass people refer to me as J-Bob.
No.
That think it's funny. Like you'll send me text, yo,
Well,
J-Bob. I'm like, you don't get to call me that. Let's stop all this J-Bob stuff. So
why would you bring it up? No one's thinking about it.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it.
Because you put it on me, so I'm thinking about it, obviously.
You go to sleep thinking about that, man? Come on.
Key.
Wake up thinking
He doesn't go to
Shut
sleep.
up.
He has a baby in the house, you know?
Going to sleep. But secondly, when people are texting me, I'm getting hot about it.
Oh, text. Oh, I thought you meant like the Twitter world or something.
No, I didn't. Twitter don't bother me.
Listen, guys, we have a lot to
that
get
wouldn't
into.
be true, but
Twitter don't.
decides, whatever, the Dolphins go a different way, they may owe him some money. But in the end, a lot of professional athletes are trying to get the bag at the end of the day. They want the biggest bag that they could possibly get for them and their families. And they're competitors, and they want to compete and play. But sometimes you have to help people protect themselves from themselves. And in this situation, whoever signed off on him not playing, that was the right decision, because you got to look beyond the game against Buffalo on Sunday and look 30 years down the line of the effects that this could potentially have on not only him, but his children, his grandchildren, and on down the line. Because if something happened to this young man, we'll be having a different conversation.
I think back to when we were talking about MVP. One of the points I made about Tua was, whether or not it's wise for him to be playing right now, the fact that he missed those games with the concussion and then he came back, it's inspirational. Look at him. He's a tough guy, right? And he's winning and he's playing well. But I always,
that's the way it used to be, Max.
I always made sure to say, wait, say it again, Key?
I said that used to be the way it was.
Yeah, right.
Tough guy, look at him, he's playing like he fight, 30 years ago. Not anymore.
It. Yeah, of course. And of course, in a full contact sport, that kind of toughness does inspire, because you need toughness in a full contact sport. I get it. But I always made sure to say, I don't know about the wisdom of him doing it. Looking back, guys, just because, hey, we can ride with this, it's working, he's doing it. When the problem with playing him 4 days after the initial event, because he cleared protocol, the problem with that was once that happens within a 4-day span, I really think that's it for the season, at least. I think that, because the next time your head gets knocked, it's probably going to happen again. This is my experience watching boxing, right?
Yeah, it totally, if you remember, I said, once you get it once, you get a tap twice, and then it's a barrel thump the third time, and then, and then you just, it recycles and repeats itself. They sit you down, Jay, for, you get your third concussion, they sit you down for 6 weeks, they say, oh, he's cleared to go. A guy plays 1 or 2 games, and next time he get hit, boom, he's out again for 6 weeks. I mean, that's the way it always was. Now I'm glad that this program is in place to make these tough decisions.
Yeah. And let me just say, from my experience watching the fights, I'm almost 50, right? For a long time, it's that if the second concussion occurs too close to the first one, this is anecdotal, I get it. I'm not a scientist here, but you can use your common sense and observation and draw conclusions. The problem is, from then on, it feels like the wiring is different. When they decided to play him 4 days after the initial event, Jay, it seems to me it has jeopardized his career.
Oh, 1,000%. We're not talking about 2 concussions. I mean, 2 concussions is a lot. You're talking about 3 in one season. So it does lead you to the next question, as if, now look, we'll get into the Bills and the Dolphins game with Skylar Thompson now and how that changes, and the line has moved up a little bit to 12.5 instead of 9. But ultimately, the bigger discussion around, is Tua your certified definitive quarterback moving forward for this franchise, considering how injury prone he is, being concussed 3 times?
No, we got to look at another direction.
Yeah, so Jimmy G, Derek Carr, other options, draft.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo healthy makes the most sense, because he knows the system, being with McDaniel. But at the same time, you got to make a decision on where you place Tua. Even if he's not your long-term solution, is he a backup? Is he a short-term? Do you still want to play with that, or do you want to give him his $6 million, $7 million, $8 million or whatever on his last year before you make a decision to pick up that option in May? So you got all the way to May to pick up the 5th-year option.
Yeah, Key,
it's 4 years.
I'm going to say one thing, Key. It's I really feel for Tua, man.
Me too.
It's because your warrior spirit as an athlete always wants to get back on the court or on the field to play. And Key, you have made mention of chasing the bag. With the way this dude has played throughout the beginning of the season, before he started getting concussed, he was on his way to getting his bag. And that is completely jeopardized.
Yeah.
Now,
there's someone who knows something about that.
It's so unfortunate for him. And it's the world of sports. This is how it works.
What you don't want is, you don't want to make decisions based on chasing that bag. And that's what I was alluding to earlier, is that, look, in the end, all athletes want to get paid, and they want to get paid for their services at a high level. and he was certainly headed in a direction where he would have gotten a different type of contract than his rookie deal. If they decide that they don't want to part ways with him, either they're going to pick up the 5th-year option or they don't pick up the 5th-year option, which me, if I was in the front office, I wouldn't pick up the 5th-year option because I probably have already gone to Stephen Ross and said, look, we drafted him. We know we want him to be our franchise quarterback, but this situation with him and these concussions are not what we want to put our hands on right now. We want him to have a healthy life. Even if the owner's yelling at me, I still would honor the rest of his contract. But then as far as a football player goes, I would have to move on from him because his health is more important. And I know there's been other players this year that have had concussions. Kenny Pickett, I think, has been in the situation of protocol a couple of times. But he continues to get over his situation. It occurred twice where now you got 2 or 3 in a short window, like Max said. It's a different situation with certain players. Concussions, when you continue to get them in the same season repeatedly, that is a major problem. If you get a couple throughout the course of your career, that's something way different.
I'm sure Stephen Ross has some backup plans. He's been known to kind of make some alternative adjustments. What? I'm just trying to get to a page just in case they decide to do something different. Jake. Making deals on boats. These things happen.
Hey, Mike McDaniel, meantime, guys, let me just close with this, and we're going to get on to Lamar Jackson. By the way, the line in Buffalo moved based on this news from Buffalo giving 9 points to 13. It's now a 13-point spread. News that Tua is out and Skylar Thompson is likely to
This will be the biggest upset of the playoffs. Huh?
Could you imagine? Let me just say, Mike McDaniel's a very young head coach. I hope that he has learned from this experience because the X's and O's he seems to have down cold, right? Strategy, all that stuff. Now I think he needs to get this part, which is assert yourself when it's clear what the right thing to do is. I think he should have done that, in the beginning.
Max, I don't, I hear you, and I've been hearing you for the last couple of days. I don't know that it's on Mike McDaniel. Even though he did the press conference and said Tua's out, well, he's doing the press conference. I don't know if he ruled him out.
No, he didn't. He didn't pass protocol. I mean the first time after 4 days when he played him, Mike Tomlin or someone like that might have said, no, we're not playing him. This just happened 4 days ago. I don't care if he cleared protocol, right? I want Mike McDaniel to get that in his personality. Then you have a truly great coach, in my opinion. By the way, guys, I'm officially off my Ravens Super Bowl pick. And is Lamar's future in jeopardy in Baltimore? That's coming up. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Everybody's 0-0 going forward. And now we get a chance to play these guys again, host a playoff game. That's a huge deal to be able to do that.
One guy said to me in the organization, we got to have 8. We got to have number 8. We got to have number 8.
Windows my whole career. This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Domino's delivery vehicles are going electric. With hundreds of EVs on the road today and hundreds more to come. It's good for pizza delivery and better for the planet.
Senor Mayor, with this tower, I will make pizza world famous. And you?
Hey, you can see towers like this in Rome, in Venice, in Florence.
But this one's round.
No, I don't know. Maybe a Red Bull will help you see it from a different slant.
Yes, I got it. We'll build it like this.
Perfecto.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Right here, right now.
Find the styles you love and the prices to match. Shop the Lowe's Bat Style and Save event now, in-store and online.
Stars from around the globe reunite in Saudi Arabia.
The Spanish Super Cup semifinals today on ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus.
I'm light as a feather, yeah, baby, I float. It's hard to look at my resume and not find a reason to toast. I'm counting my blessings, we ain't stressing, just look at this glow.
Saturday prime time, Bucks, Heat on ABC.
Admit it, you use my Old Spice body wash.
I'm not letting hotel soap near my skin. It's the lavender and mint for me. Get that.
Savannah, if you don't get your moisturized hands off my body wash.
Have an H&R Block Tax Pro do your taxes online, and tax season feels just as good as all those other seasons, like wedding season.
I W-2 you.
Taxes.
File from anywhere with the expertise of an H&R Block Tax Pro.
Newest thing from Pizza Hut isn't pizza at all. It's cheesy, so crispy, loaded with toppings, and just $6.99. Enough for two, price for one. New Pizza Hut melts, just $6.99.
I be like,
dude, you coming? Because the only thing dripping should be your style. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. With Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and flu relief. Also try for Fizzy Fast cough relief.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Lamar shouldn't play. I didn't think Lamar should have played this year if he didn't get his contract. Like, the reason why they're in contention, or the reason why we're even thinking he even have a damn chance, is because of Lamar Jackson. So, like, now you're telling me there's an injury he has. He's trying to come back to play in the playoffs. I'm like, why even play? Why jeopardize?
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, presented by Progressive Insurance. Ravens quarterbacks, and the reason I took them to win the Super Bowl, and the guy who's had a fourth quarter lead in every single game in which he has played this season, Lamar Jackson. Yesterday's practice, he told us, listen, this is what they're doing in practices, whatever. It's not, but I thought that Wednesday is the install day, as Damian Woody said yesterday, and on air repeatedly, and all this. Like, I need to see him, having not practiced in a month. I need to see him in Wednesday's practice to even give him a shot against Burrow and the Bengals.
You need to see him.
I do. Very important. The football world knew that Max Kellerman needed to see him. But really, Key, he missed his 16th straight practice. He did not practice yesterday. Lamar Jackson has not suited up since injuring his knee on December 4th. There was some optimism last week that he might come back after being sidelined for the last 5 regular season games. Key, here's John Harbaugh, of course, Ravens head coach, at yesterday's press conference.
As long as he's safe and healthy and can play, it's for any player. It's not really just any particular player. I mean, any player goes out there, and if he's healthy and safe and it's not going to do any damage to an injury, any player, plays and does what he can to the level that he can in that situation.
Exactly. When you look at Lamar Jackson, and let's say he doesn't practice at all with the team in terms of team reps. As a player on the team, I'm excited because I know Lamar on one leg is better than every quarterback that we have on both legs. So if he has no reps, because we're not doing anything, it's all mental. At this time of year, we're light jogging, we're walking through, we're watching some film. That's pretty much it. And if he can do those things, he'll play. You watch what I tell you.
Does this, Jay Will, pretty much confirm what you have been saying all along, that Lamar Jackson will not suit up this weekend?
I'm going to die on this hill. What's the reason to if you're not 100%? Like, why are you jeopardizing? And I get what football people are going to say. I get what athletes want him to do, because at the end of the day, you want to play. But you're going to jeopardize your body once again when you've already done that and you've had this injury, and now after not really practicing, you're just going to come back and be Superman? Like, why would you even put that at risk?
Well, he might not be Superman.
But why play hurt?
I'm sure he's not going to get on the field if he can't go.
No, but
if
that's
he
not.
can't
That's
go,
not,
he's not gonna get out there.
But Key, there have been a lot of times in my career where I was able to go, but I was still hurt, right? But my money was never on the line. Like there wasn't a bigger contract with as much on the line for Lamar as there was in my situation. So, like, why jeopardize that? Why even put that at risk?
Guys, real quick, there's a graphic up right now. Ravens with and without Lamar. Points per game goes way up, almost 10 points. Yards per game, like 50 yards a game. Total QBR is 20 points higher plus. But the number one stat for me, because these are large sample sizes, right? They're 8-13, underwater, significantly underwater in more than a season's worth of games without Lamar Jackson. Same defense, same coach. I'm not trying to hear it's the defense and the coach and all that. 8-13 without him. With him, 45-16. They are almost what? They lose almost twice as much as they win without him. They win almost 3 times as much as they lose with him. He is probably the biggest difference maker in football, right? Based on that.
Well, that's why he's going to play if he can play. That's why.
I want to ask you about that.
I understand what Jay is saying about the money in securing that thing, but that should have been a thought in September. You passed that now. Now, if you don't play and you're capable of playing, it takes on a different feeling.
Key, I want to pin you down on
in
this.
The locker room.
I want to pin you down on this because I want to figure out if you think is there never a time where, yeah, I could probably go, but it's risky right now, where you're on the fence and you could get pushed one way or another, or is it always definitive? Yeah, I'm good to go. No, I can't go.
What type of player are you talking about, though, Max? See, the guy who says, yeah, I can go, but he's still kind of that guy, he ain't probably all in anyway, you know. Yeah, when you're talking about certain things.
Well, yeah, but if that's what Jay is saying, right? If
he probably not all
$300 million on the line, you might not.
But he was already in since September.
But that's
he's been in. He's been in. If he showed you that coming out the gate on the outset, he was in.
So why would that affect the locker room if you know Lamar Jackson's personality to be all in?
It's not. I'm not referring to Lamar. I'm talking about there's athletes.
Oh, yeah, I understand, but I'm talking about specifically Lamar. If Lamar has shown you the ability, saying, all right, you know what? Contract on the line, I'm going to play. If he's done that. And then say for some reason, now with this injury, he's like, you know what? I did play. It's led me to this. I don't feel as comfortable. Why would that?
Yeah, but you wouldn't question Lamar because you already know what Lamar is made of, who he is. Yeah, so you would never question him on the back end if he did not play. That means he can't really play. If he doesn't play, that's because he can't play.
There was never a time, Key, in your career where if something was on the line, if you were
before you even go there, hold on. Before you even go there, Max.
Yeah.
I missed 2 games in my entire career. And that was only due to a scope my rookie year.
No, I get
I didn't miss another game.
Key. I remember.
I didn't miss another game.
Listen, this is
when I decided, when Dungy decided to pull a bunch of us because we had already clinched, is the only other time I ever missed a game. And that had nothing to do with injury.
Listen, there's a reason that you were one of Bill Parcells' favorites, right? Like, that doesn't happen by accident because you're like the same. Whether or not you realize it, you and Parcells are like the same guy. Like, you know, it's just like the same. Yeah, you and Parcells.
Wish.
Yep. No,
he wish he looked like me.
In the most important ways, you guys are very alike. That's always been apparent. But Key, for people who bother to look, but Key, what I'm saying is, you were never like, you know, we saw the OMTV cribs, whatever, from back in the day. You had long money from a long time ago.
Quiet, man.
My point is, were you ever in a position where you're like, hold on, I'm coming up on my next deal? This is really not okay. No. If you were, would that have changed any decision you made?
No, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have changed any decision at all. Because I play football. And I don't think I wasn't one that thought, because I already, like you said, it makes me laugh. Like you said, though, Max, I hit already. I already hit. I passed.
Right.
I won the game early on in my career.
Right.
So it never got to me that, oh my God, I'm gonna be a free agent. I gotta play regardless.
Makes it harder for you to relate to this situation.
No, I give in to that. It's almost like my homeboys that used to play that that played with me every day, they look at the transaction wire and be like, man, I don't know what you laughing at, because you don't have to worry about looking and seeing your name in the paper.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't understand. When you have a guy like Lamar, who in September played, he ain't going to not play if he can play.
I mentioned earlier, Lamar Jackson missed the Ravens' final 5 regular season games. This is from Elias, guys. Only 5 quarterbacks have missed their team's final 5 regular season games and started a playoff game. History of the Super Bowl era, right? Mm-hmm. Lamar will seek to join Donovan McNabb as the only quarterbacks to win in that situation if he plays. Coming up, UFC's Dana White says criticism for a physical altercation with his wife is 100% warranted. We're going to get into that next. But first, Key has this word from Grainger.
For all the ones who get it done, Grainger offers high-quality supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facility safe and your people even safer. So simply just call, click Grainger.com, or pull up and stop by.
The best who ever did it, Deion Sanders.
Prime time.
What's up, Prime?
This is my favorite 3 guys, man. I love you guys differently, respectfully, and hopefully. Trust me.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Meet Febrez's Miracle Spray, Febreze Fabric Refresher. I literally use this every day to make my house smell amazing. After I make the bed, after I catch my dog on the couch, so I can wear my jacket or jeans one more time before I wash them again. It even makes shoes smell fresh. It doesn't cover up odors with scent, but actually helps eliminate them. Over 1,000 uses. Febreze Fabric Refresher.
Next on Behind the Series.
That run with the champ was magical. I mean, the tender chicken, the peppercorn ranch. I love my rings. And I'll cherish that lunch forever.
The Subway Series, the greatest menu of all time.
We love our new home. There's so much space.
We have a guest room now.
But we have ants.
You're slouching again, Ted.
Expired.
Thanks, Aunt Bonnie.
It's a lot of house. I hope you can keep it clean.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Which helps us save a lot of money.
Oh, Teddy, did you get my friend request?
I'll have to check.
Aunt Joni's here.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
You seen this app? Order sandwiches, earn rewards right on your phone.
Jimmy's John's in the phones.
Jimmy John's.
They're in the TV. They're in the internet.
They're on the phones.
Jimmy John's. Join Freaky Fast Rewards, earn free food.
Hey, you. It's that time of year again. When it's okay to get a little carried away for football. To feel all the postseason feels for football. It's okay to do this, or even that.
I don't know what that is.
And it's definitely okay to get wild on Wild Card Monday. So if you want to leap, chase, and cheese, it's all okay. Why? Because this is playoff season.
Create social media ads with Fiverr. You'll need your brand manager, copywriter, and Xena, a Fiverr freelance video editor that works with Fortune 500 companies who will join your team from home. Her home, not yours. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
One of my goals was to master my credit. And that's when I found Experian Boost on my Chime app. My FICO score went up 14 points. And all it took was 3 bills that I was already paying on time. See what I'm saying? At Chime.com.
I got this mountain bike for only $11.
DealDash.com, the fair and honest bidding site. This KitchenAid mixer sold for less than $26. This iPad sold for less than $43. And this PlayStation 5 sold for less than $1.
I want these Bluetooth headphones for $20.
I got these 3 suitcases for less than $40. And shipping is always free.
Go to DealDash.com right now and see how much you can save.
Which one seed has a better shot, and I'll start with you, Chris, of reaching the Super Bowl? Would you say it's the Chiefs or the Eagles?
I got to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is no disrespect to Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid,
but I think they have a tougher road to toe when it comes to getting to the big game. When you look at the quarterbacks that they would have to go through, Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, both of whom have accounted for 40-plus touchdowns, and both of those teams are in the conversation for the best rosters in the National Football League. And so when I look at what Pat Mahomes would have to do, given he's got the bye during the wild card week, but you're going to have to deal with Cincinnati or you're going to have to deal with Buffalo. And then if Buffalo does advance to the conference championship game, that's on a neutral site. That's not in Kansas City. So it's not going to be the Pat Mahomes Invitational for the conference championship game like it has been for the past 4 years. On the other side of it, you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, because things are quarterback driven even more so in the postseason. Think about the NFC quarterbacks in the playoff picture. You're talking about Brock Purdy. You're talking about Dak Prescott, who leads the league in interceptions, 15 total turnovers since week 8. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, they don't scare you. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, as long as Jalen Hurts is comfortable being a focal point in that running game, then they should be viewed as the favorites to get to the Super Bowl out of that conference. So I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles having the best chance over the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, number one, I think personally the NFL with this neutral site thing, that's the dumbest thing in the history of the world. They did an awful, awful job that we're doing a neutral site for the AFC Championship game. Not only that, we're probably going to put it in a dome. So we're going to have 2 outdoor teams playing in a dome in a neutral site. I've never heard of such a thing. Yeah. And how about the poor season ticket holders of the Chiefs or the Bills who going to have to get a lottery to get to the game and then fly to Atlanta, per se, to go to the football game? How about the poor fan base?
They'll get over it.
No, they won't. That's not fair. That is not fair what they did. That was terrible.
That is fair. But I'll wait.
You can catch First Take every weekday, 10 Eastern on ESPN.
Moran around an Adams Street, crosses over Pirtle.
He got him again! Pirtle gets dunked on by John Morant. The same building it happened last year, and Morant went for part 2, and that one was impressive. Oh my goodness.
I mean, if you talk about the most electrifying athletes in sports, he is on a short list and might be on top of it. Ja Morant, 38, has returned from injury. The streaking Grizzlies top the Spurs 135-129. Ja now has 8 35-point games this season, but it just looks different with him. Grizzlies have won 8 straight games. Mahomes just looks different when he does it. Anyway, that 8 straight is tied for the 3rd longest win streak in franchise history. On Wednesday, former Stanford coach David Shaw interviewed with the Broncos regarding their vacant head coach position. Sources told our Adam Schefter. Shaw spent 9 years in the NFL from 1997 to 2005 with the Eagles, then Oakland Raiders and Ravens, and was considering a return to the pro game after resigning in November. USC star running back and 1979 Heisman Trophy winner Charles White passed away Wednesday at the age of 64. Two-time All-American and Los Angeles native, White won a national title in 1978, proclaiming the Heisman the following season when he led the nation in rushing yards. SportsCenter is presented by Progressive Insurance. For a job you'll love, visit progressive.com/careers. Keyshawn J. with a Max, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app. Click more on the lower right-hand corner of the app. Scroll down to live radio, and we are portable. You get to work, you still want to listen? No problem. You got a phone in your pocket. Everyone does. You have us with you at all times. Listen live. We're presented by Progressive Insurance, and you can join the conversation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line, 888-SAY-ESPN, 729-3776. Okay, USC President Dana White.
No, UFC.
What I say? SC?
You said USC.
I have college football on my.
USC got a new president, Keith?
UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship President Dana White told reporters on Wednesday that no one should be defending his behavior for him after he was caught on camera on New Year's Eve in Mexico slapping his wife in a nightclub's VIP section. Here is what Dana White had to say yesterday.
What should the repercussions be? You tell me. I take 30 days off. How does that hurt me? I mean, I told you guys when we were going through COVID could last 10 years. I could sit it out and, you know what I mean? What would be the problem? It's much like COVID, actually. You know, me leaving hurts the company. hurts my employees, hurts the fighters. Doesn't hurt me. I could have left in 2016. You know what I mean? I don't know. What's the do I need to reflect? No, I don't need to reflect. The next morning when I woke up, you know what I mean? I've been against this. I've owned this. I'm telling you that I'm wrong. And but listen, I mean, we've had plenty of discussions internally with Ari, ESPN. Nobody's happy. Nobody's happy about this, you know. Neither am I. But it happened, and I have to deal with it. And what is my punishment? Here's my punishment. I got to walk around for however long I live. Is it 10.4 years or is it another 25 years? And I gotta. This is how I'm labeled now. My other punishment is that, you know, I'm sure a lot of people, whether it be media, fighters, friends, acquaintances who had respect for me, might not have respect for me now. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life that are way more of a punishment than what? I take a 30-day, 60-day absence. That's not a punishment to me.
So that's what Dana White had to say yesterday. And I should tell you, Dana, I have a relationship with Dana White that goes back almost 25 years. And when he says he doesn't want anyone defending him. When he says, though, that how would me sitting out 30 days, that's not a punishment for me? Yes, it would be. Absolutely, it would be, because Dana, it's not an adrenaline junkie, but Dana is an A-type personality that needs to needs to go, right? Needs to run the company. That's something he loves. It's a labor of love. It's like a passion thing for him. So yes, it would absolutely be a punishment, but that's not going to happen because he is the one in authority. He's the one in position of power. And I agree with this assessment that he owns it. He understands it, the whole thing, and he is in the wrong. He's not making any excuses. But I think people will have a bad reaction because this is the overlapping. This is in the Venn diagram. This is the shaded area of not only domestic violence, but then also responsibility and how people in positions of power don't have to answer for behavior in the same way others do. And so I think people will have a strong reaction to this.
Exactly. Hit the nail on the head, Max. So like for me, frankly, and first and foremost, nobody should put their hands on anybody at all, period. I tell my kids that. I stand by that. Number two, why does Dana White decide or have the power to decide what his punishment is in the first place? It should be out of his hands. Like, he shouldn't have that authority. And
what do you mean by that? Because there's legal remedies, and then once that's exhausted, the only other authority really is people want to do business with you, yes or no? People want to interact with you, yes or no?
There are people that hold positions of power within how that org structure is dealt that could determine, you know, what the end result would be for Dana White. I'll just say that and leave it at that. I think, and also it's, when you're in these type of situations, the unapologetic tone of his statement is what rubs people the wrong way. And I get that it's something, hey, I have to live with it, but how you say something matters. So when your tone is that of, hey, I am coming from a privileged position of power, like I am the authoritative, you know, figure in this that will determine ultimately, you know, how I feel about this. For a lot of people who aren't in that position of power, who aren't afforded the same luxuries, that turns into a big problem. Because also now it's like, oh, you're above the law. You're above the rules. Doesn't matter what you do. You know, you don't have to be contrite. You don't have to serve any kind of suspension, whereas other people do. And that's what rubs people the wrong way about it.
Key?
I think his tone when he's sending the message and talking about it is he's in character, Max, you know, UFC character. Everything is aggressive. You know, most people have a press conference and address situations of this magnitude and the seriousness of it. Their tones are a little more subdued and their answers are a little more calculated, and it takes on a different feel than like Jay is saying. It feels like I'm privileged no matter what. I'm the one controlling it. No one's going to tell me what to do. It just has that sort of tone to it. But I also understand he's in UFC. He's aggressive by nature in terms of his voice. And so it just sounds a little, puts you off a little bit. But I also understand it's the way he's delivering that message.
By the way, that is like when you're saying character, I hear what you're saying, Key. I agree. But I don't think he's in character in the sense that Dana is not the type to feel sorry for himself. He is self-made. Like he built this. He built this.
Absolutely. We understand that.
So what you're describing is that kind of personality, right? Like
he's in that UFC personality. I'm not saying aggressive UFC, I'm gonna fight personality. He's been doing that for however many years he's doing it. He doesn't understand how to bring it down enough to satisfy a guy like Jay and myself in terms of the way you're sending that message. It just sounds like no matter what, everybody's cool with it. Like or Ari's cool with it, ESPN is cool with it, so everybody else should be cool with it.
And Key, the thing that really rubs me the wrong way is like this is the first time that I'm actually hearing Dana address the situation publicly. First time. Because the world, frankly, has stopped for Damar Hamlin. It stopped, right? Biggest news story there was in America about what's going on in football and this young man fighting for his life. So when you have that amount of time, when you go through those amounts of conversations with all your investors, with the publicly traded company, you go through all that, and then you come to the table for your first time to deliver your thoughts on the matter, and it's that demonstrative. That's weird to me.
If people are wondering, well, why is it business as usual with him? If you're a publicly traded company, what's good for the stock price is usually what determines outcomes. And obviously the feeling is he's good for the stock price. And the other thing is, and I mentioned this before, it's one of those Gladwell books where people are talking about malpractice lawsuits. And it turns out that they're much more closely correlated with bedside manner than with results, right? He's not only gotten results for shareholders, but he has good personal relationships with people. As I said, and I'm not, I have a relationship with him goes back almost a quarter century. So that helps you out in these kind of times. But there should be no ambiguity. He knows he's wrong. Everyone.
And Max, what's the 30-day suspension?
Right. That's the real argument for something happening is not that he doesn't understand what he did or punishment for punishment's sake. It's that in a country where that's an epidemic, right? That you want to send the clear message culturally. Hey, this won't be tolerated. This is a bad thing. Not give people kind of subliminal permission, right? Well, no, it's okay. It'll pass, and so that's really the best argument for something happening. But this is what in fact is happening. We're going to continue to monitor the situation with Dana White. More KJM next.
I be like, sunset on the beach. Make me wanna pull up on Miami with the heat.
It's not a pizza, it's a melt. And for $6.99, it's just for you.
We make sit-down chicken, stand-up chicken, backyard chicken, oops chicken, and all smiles chicken. If there's one thing we know, it's chicken, chicken, and chicken. More choices, more wow, more to love. Tyson.
With my low energy, I can't even blow up this celebratory balloon.
At Planet Fitness, there's hope. Now through January 12th, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and turn your low energy into big fitness energy in 2023 in a clean and spacious, judgment-free zone with tons of equipment to get you energized.
Low E? Not for me.
Simply join through the free PF app for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends today.
It's not like the good old days.
It's not like the good old days.
It's not like the good,
old days.
Stop parroting everything. Instead, drink a Red Bull and think for yourselves.
Since when do you dictate what we do?
Exactly. You're not the boss of us.
Power to the people!
Oh, well, individuality often complicates things.
Red Bull gives you wings.
This ring is a commitment. After we got married, I got very sick. He would come every day to help me walk again.
and now I'm back. This is a reminder
that love endures all.
Express your extraordinary love. Jared, love brilliantly.
At Domino's, next time you order 2 medium 2-topping pizzas for $6.99 each, you could be in for a shock. Because hundreds of new electric vehicles are rolling out to deliver Domino's across America.
You're good. I'm great.
My name is Austin James. As a musician living with diabetes, finger sticks can be a real challenge. That's why I use the Freestyle Libre 2 system. With a painless 1-second scan, I know my glucose numbers without finger sticks. Now I'm managing my diabetes better, and I've lowered my A1C from 8.2 to 6.7.
Take the mystery out of managing your diabetes and lower your A1C. Now you know. Try it for free at freestylelibre.us.
What did you expect? Did you think you could relax?
Saved by Shesterkin.
Or had you convinced yourself some records were forever?
Ovechkin has done it.
That you'd seen everything there was to see? Or have you realized you can't look away and you don't know the future and that the game has never been better? That is hockey.
Tua has not been cleared. Because of that, they can rule him out for Sunday.
Miami's preparing for Skylar Thompson to start.
You did what was best for Tua moving forward. Football is just a game. Game was here before us. This game is here now. This game is going to be here after us.
I think this is a great opportunity for us going to Buffalo, which is a very good football team. We're going to be confident.
Keyshawn J. Will Max on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPN2. Click more in the lower right-hand corner of the app. Scroll down to Live Radio. Bam, you can find us right there. Presented by Progressive Insurance. You can join the conversation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line, 888-SAY-ESPN, 729-3776. And look who's here. Amber Wilson, host of Joe and Amber. You can listen to Joe and Amber weeknights from 7 to 9 p.m. right here, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. Amber, we know that you've been going at Key, but now on a more serious note, first of all, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. Hey, Key.
Great to hear from you. We know you're a Dolphins fan, obviously. So how are you feeling about the whole Tua situation after he was ruled out?
I think that we were all expecting this, right? And it probably ends up an easier decision for the Dolphins since apparently he didn't clear concussion protocol. I don't know what would have happened if he had cleared concussion protocol. I think that there would have been a lot of backlash if they had decided to start him in a situation like that. So they don't even have to deal with that. It appears that he did not clear concussion protocol. They're going to go with Skylar Thompson. I think we all expected Tua is probably not going to get the go here in the postseason. I think the bigger problem, though, is that they can't rely on their backup quarterback either in Teddy Bridgewater. And I'm not sure that that's being discussed enough. That's something that will have to be addressed moving forward if you are going to keep Tua Tagovailoa on your roster, because every time Tua goes down, Teddy goes down with some sort of injury as well. And you just can't have that when you already have durability concerns when it comes to your starters. So now we're relying on Skylar Thompson. And so far, guys, it hasn't gone so well. I'd love to come on your show and be able to talk a bunch of bleeps to Key, but I'm not feeling so great about Skylar Thompson in Buffalo.
I think you used all your bleep this past weekend. to be quite frank,
I had to get it in while I could, Key. I had to get it in while I could.
Well, I mean, we both know that the Miami Dolphins are a much better team if Tua was healthy and playing. They displayed that throughout most of the season. However, that's not the case right now. I think the first and foremost, they got to worry about his health. Amber, do you think that he should be on the Miami Dolphins roster next year? Because me personally, I don't. I'd like to see Stephen Ross pay the contract out and, Tua decide to do something else different in his life.
Here's my only thing with that, Key. I'm really uncomfortable telling a grown man how he needs to handle his life, particularly when I myself, I've never been faced with that opportunity. I've never been faced with the millions and millions of dollars of fame and all the perks that come with playing professional football. So telling somebody to give all that up, I don't feel like that should be up to me by any means. I do also think, though, with the Miami Dolphins, that they've got a public relations problem when it comes to Tua. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We obviously are all very concerned about his long-term health. And I think we saw with Damar Hamlin that there are things that are bigger than football. And that was really, really refreshing, frankly, seeing that we do care about the humans playing this game. But when it comes to Tua, the narrative around Tua, specifically, everyone calling for him to give up this game, it's a little strange to me because we don't hear the same thing about many other players in the National Football League who also suffer multiple concussions every season. Again, I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong, but I do think that the Dolphins have a durability concern when it comes to Tua, but I think they have just as big of a public relations concern because for whatever reason, the narrative has focused in on this particular player. I don't mean to harp on you, Max, but I did hear at the top of the hour, you were being fairly critical, like a lot of people, of how Mike McDaniel handled the Tua situation back in September. But you said a coach like Mike Tomlin wouldn't have handled it the same way. And Kenny Pickett has suffered multiple concussions this season. Not only did the Steelers handle it the same way, the Steelers put him back out there to play in the same game. He cleared concussion protocol, went back out there, played. He had to take himself out of the game. For some reason, no criticism of how the Steelers handled that situation, and no one's calling for Kenny Pickett to retire. So it's something with Tua and with the Dolphins. And I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong. I do think that that's a big problem moving forward, though, for the Dolphins to consider beyond just Tua's health is how much everyone's going to be holding their breath watching Tua play football forevermore. And I think that's, it's certainly a concern.
Amber, hold on, Key, because Jay wants to get in, but I got to respond because, Amber, you brought up a point I made about how there's a difference. In boxing, you can get a standing 8 count, may have been a concussive event, and you can continue fighting, right? But if you are knocked out, there's a 30-day wait period. Like if it's come to an end, you have to be removed from the contest. You're right, actually, logically, that if you're concussed, who cares if you can keep going? Maybe you should just be removed from the game, right? Period. But there is a big difference between this player suffered multiple concussions in the same year you continue to play him, and this person clearly had a neurological event where he couldn't control his legs. And 4 days later, upon reflection and everything, you got to look at it, the whole thing, you could see what it was, you put him back in the game. I'm not saying this in retrospect. I said it at the time. Not a good idea, because I see what happens when you have, oftentimes you will get concussed again, and then it's an issue. That's my criticism.
Well, and I'm certainly not defending that action. And I mean, technically, they did follow protocol. Technically, he was not diagnosed with a concussion. Obviously, we know the NFL changed their protocols after that event, as they should have, because we all saw what was happening. That's why you guys have a bunch of people in your mentions, he's only been diagnosed with 2 concussions. Well, that's true. He was only diagnosed with 2 this season. I think we all saw 3 happen.
Jay?
Amber, I did want to ask you, understanding the PR challenge that the Dolphins may have with Tua moving forward, understanding the sensitivities around having 3 concussions in 1 calendar year, understanding also that a quarterback in Jimmy G, who probably won't be in San Francisco anymore, a place where Mike McDaniel comes from. How interesting or feasible of a possibility is that for the Dolphins to go after a guy like Jimmy G?
I like that fit schematically. I don't like that fit from a durability perspective. Now, could you make Jimmy Garoppolo the starter and Tua the backup? But then you kind of find yourself in a situation like the Dolphins are currently in, where Ted think you hand him that extension. I think you watch Burrow get paid out of the same draft, Herbert get paid out of the same draft. You don't have to hand Chungaloa that extension yet. We saw it with the Giants. Take your time. Daniel Jones, they could even pick up his 5th-year option for Tua and evaluate things moving forward with him.
Amber Wilson, host of Joe and Amber. You can hear it weeknights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. Good talking to you, Amber.
Thanks, guys. Skylar Thompson's going to get it done, Key. Going to get it done.
Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence? Which quarterback is going to win more in their careers? Keyshawn J. Willimax.
Ghost Pepper Wings, here we come.
What are you doing?
Just in case, it is Ghost Pepper Wings.
What, scared? These are more flavorful than spicy.
Things aren't always as they seem. Try the Popeyes Ghost Pepper Wings that have the perfect level of kick and
for Tua and evaluate things moving forward with him.
Amber Wilson, host of Joe and Amber. You can hear it weeknights, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio. Good talking to you, Amber.
Thanks, guys. Skylar Thompson's going to get it done, Key. Going to get it done.
Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence? Which quarterback is going to win more in their careers? Keyshawn J. Willimax.
Ghost Pepper Wings, here we come.
What are you doing?
Just in case, it is Ghost Pepper Wings.
What, scared? These are more flavorful than spicy.
things aren't always as they seem. Try the Popeyes Ghost Pepper Wings that have the perfect level of kick and flavor for $5 today.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Melbourne, you are amazing. Kia Arena is rocking. Straight nitro from Curious. It's the Miracle in Melbourne. Amazing. If you love tennis, you're loving this.
The Australian Open begins January 15th on ESPN. The story starts here.
Strawberries, blueberries, and the cherry on top. Fairlife, with 50% more protein, 50% less sugar, and a creamy taste, turns scrumptious into scrumptious. Fairlife, ultra-filtered milk.
ADT systems now feature Google products like the Nest Cam with Floodlight, with intelligent alerts when a person or familiar face is detected.
Sam, Sophie's not here tonight.
So you have a home with no worries. Brought to you by ADT.
Hey, honey, sunscreen. We shop with Ibotta because it gives us cash back on everything we buy.
Is that why it's shooting money all over me?
It's a visual metaphor to show there's cash back in everything.
In-store, online, there's cash back in everything you buy.
Create an amazing website with Fiverr. You'll need your web developer, UX writer, and Amy, a Fiverr freelance graphic designer with dozens of 5-star reviews who will join your team from her favorite coffee shop. Don't forget to tip. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
When I first started out as a filmmaker, I didn't want to get into credit cards because I realized I didn't know anything about it and it felt very risky to me. So my friend told me about Chime. I got the credit builder card and it was crazy. I didn't have to worry about interest. I didn't have to worry about fees. It wasn't a credit check. My score is up 80 points. I just finished my feature film and it feels like there's a future ahead to where we're saving up to buy a house. Look, if I can do it, you can do it too. Join me at chime.com.
3rd down and 14. Blitz coming. Picked up nicely. Brady, though, can't find anybody open, and down he goes again.
Brady. Whenever you could get him, he's top on the list.
He knows what defenses you're in. You can beat him before he beats you.
Once you make Brady move off his spot, he can find himself in a lot of trouble.
We're here to solve one of football's greatest mysteries, trying to crack the Tom Brady code.
The most sacked quarterback of all time, 555 and counting. It's more a testament to Brady's remarkable longevity. He's the most sought after for big sack hunters. I know because I was one of the first to protect him. Beyond the numbers, you'll see sacking Tom Brady is actually quite difficult.
his football IQ. 12 is difficult to sack, and it has nothing to do with mobility.
He's not scared of any defense. He's not scared of any pass rush.
He didn't make any mistakes. Every single play on offense, he always found the open guy.
The biggest thing that he does, and the other greats that I played against, a general sense before the ball snaps where they're throwing the ball.
He gets the ball off in like 1.7 seconds and throws it right to him.
Look at that playoff atmosphere right here, boy. Seize the moment.
There's an intensity to the playoffs. Kind of throw the records out at that point.
If you truly want something in life, you gotta go take it.
One thing that you can't replicate is playoff football. It's going to be a war.
Are you kidding me? Oh my! This place is on fire.
Max, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPN2. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Coming to you live from above the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17. Guys, EJ, good morning. Good morning.
How you doing here, Max?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
All right, Max Kellerman, how you doing there? Hi, chump.
So, as you know,
you have a good day yesterday?
I have a good. honestly, I don't even.
Jay, like, man, come on, slow down.
I don't even.
You know what I mean, Key? Can we talk a little life, Max, for a second?
I mean, yeah, we go to bed late and wake up early, and they just one day bleeds into the next. I wake up, it's still dark out, as you know, and like really dark. So like yesterday, I have to think all the way back. I don't know. I guess it was.
Yeah.
I remember.
Apparently, yesterday I got into some Twitter beef with Stan Van Gundy.
What happened?
Oh well,
with Stan Van Gundy
because I got asked what my dream job is, and I stated, Georgetown basketball would be like a dream job for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Stan said, "Why are you campaigning for somebody's job? Have some integrity." Like, okay.
Who said that?
Stan Van Gundy. So apparently, I have no.
So
I have no,
the
I
way
have no
you should
integrity,
do it,
Key, 'cause
Jay.
I can't state what a dream job is.
No, listen to me.
Okay, talk me through it, Key.
You have to do it differently when you're in the coaching circle. You cannot do it publicly. You have to be slick.
But he's not. He's
go
not in the coaching
behind
circle.
people's back.
You got to backdoor your.
You
way
got to
in.
backdoor. Go meet with the president of the university. And don't tell Patrick Ewing you doing it. But then when you see Patrick, you say, "Hey, how you doing, man?" And then you go meet with the athletic director. And then you start building your staff and sending it via email to them. That's the way coaches, real slick. That's how you got to do it.
I agree with Jay though. I think the way people I've been in the business over 25 years now. So
no, but coaches is different.
I know
Jay.
it's different. I know it's
they
different.
backstab each other.
But even in this business, like I've been approached when I've turned something down or I've been considering it. Someone come, "Hey, would you mind if I threw my hat into the ring, like out of respect?" And I tell everyone the same thing. No one is owed a job. Like I don't own a job. If you want to come for my job, come and get it. Be better than me. Take it.
But I laugh at the whole thing. It's like, show some integrity. So, who's said I want the Georgetown? I say it was a dream job.
But
dream
the
job,
coaching.
And by the way, Pat Ewing, like nobody's calling for Pat Ewing to be fired. I haven't. Now fans are talking about that. That's on them.
Jay,
like I'm not campaigning for Pat to get
It's actually
fired.
much more straightforward to do it your way.
No. In the coaching world, Jay know what I'm talking about.
Oh, because they be slick as all things.
In the coaching world, they stab each other in the back and hide, all that.
But there's
I'll come work for you. I'll come work for you. You hire me.
You behind your back.
And then all of a sudden you have a bad stretch. I'm telling the owner, see, I would be able to do it better if you just put me in that seat. Yeah, they do that, man. It's unbelievable.
Have some integrity. I said, oh, wow. Okay.
Twitter,
please, Stan Van Gundy.
Action tonight. As the Lakers host the Mavs, coverage begins at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
I wonder
on
if Mike
select
Krzyzewski
ESPN radio
retired.
stations. See, now I have a problem, Jay, because you're my dude. But I like Van Gundy on Twitter. I like I like the cut of his jib. But now he's beefing with my guy. So I'm on your side.
Stan, if you really want to know,
Bad, Stan
if you really
Van
want to
Gundy.
know, Stan, reach out to me.
Yeah,
Call me.
That's right.
Come on, man.
Right, you can do
I
that.
thought you wanted the Cal job, Jay.
The UK, Kentucky? Oh, your dream job should be Duke. Thanks for telling me what my dream job should be.
Right.
Thank you.
Now Coach Shire got to watch out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because someone's asking you your dream job, like in some fantasy world, what would it be? And so you say, well, this is what it is. And then they act like you're
like, oh, there's
campaigning.
no context. Nobody asked you. I'm like, because you guys hear what people ask me on the street. Like, if somebody doesn't ask me via Twitter, that means nobody ever asked me the question.
This is the
What are we
problem
doing?
I find with social media, honestly.
You
is
know
that
my
you
dream
have to-
job?
What's that?
You want to know mine?
Go ahead.
I want to be the head coach of the USC Trojans.
Uh-oh.
It's not even true,
Controversy. Lincoln Riley.
I don't want to have to go through everything coaches go through to get a head coaching job.
Right.
I just want mine handed to me based on my accolades and what I did at USC.
So, Key, let me ask you a question, because I think it just brings up a unique topic about where we are in coaches. Because, right, this notion that you have to go through being an assistant coach for 20 years. Right? We've seen guys like Deion Sanders. We've seen guys like Steve Kerr. We've seen guys like Jay Kidd. Key, if you know players, if you know how to talk to players, if you have a lot of experience in dealing with players and family members and creating the right culture, like the X's and O's of football, could you find people to help you kind of navigate that?
Oh, absolutely. I could put the coldest staff together in the history of sports.
So
They
why
all played on a 7-on-7 team anyway.
Give me a budget.
Give me a budget to hire my guys. I could tell you who I'm hiring off the top. I could have a staff put together in a
your staff?
heartbeat. I'm not telling you.
Depends on where
I
it's
don't. Y'all
going.
don't.